Now today marks the start of firearms deer season, Missouri's most popular time for hunting. Now in a normal year, hunters in 30 counties across the state would be required to get their deer tested for chronic wasting disease, now known as CWD. But this year, in order to follow some social distancing guidelines, that testing is only voluntary. And today our David Chasanoff visited one of the Missouri Department of Conservation's chronic wasting disease test sites up in Bolivar. David, let's start with this. What is chronic wasting disease?
Well, Jesse, CWD is a disease that creates holes in a deer's brain. Now, it hasn't been proven to be harmful to humans, but Francis Skalisky says it's better to be safe than sorry.
Just checking in our deer. We harvested a deer this morning.
On the opening weekend of Missouri's firearms deer season, hunters in Polk County made sure their buck or doe was healthy.
Pretty big deal because, I mean, it's meat in the freezer and we have a baby and want to make sure that everybody who's eating it's healthy meat.
Both Craig Hart and Clancy Keithley checked their deer at a Missouri Department of Conservation sample testing site for chronic wasting disease, or CWD. CWD is a brain wasting disease that is fatal to deer. Francis Skalisky's department hosted voluntary CWD testing in 30 counties across Missouri today.
If we collect samples like we're doing here, we can find it in early stages, so we can get an idea where the disease is and hopefully prevent it from spreading.
Since Missouri had its first case of the disease in 2012, MDC has tested more than 130,000 deer across the state. Only 163 have tested positive.
While it's here, it's at a very low prevalence, and testing like this can keep it that way.
It's a lymph node out of the neck.
The reason we pull lymph nodes is because that's one of the earliest places that the disease appears in a deer.
Test results normally come back in about 2 to 3 weeks.
We've had mandatory sampling for chronic wasting disease since 2016. This year, because of COVID-19, it's voluntary. This sample collection process is kind of a mingling of people event.
This year, hunters are asked to stay in their cars.
While we're still looking for the disease, we have to be mindful that we are in a pandemic year, so we do take steps to kind of make it health conscious for hunters, safer for hunters.
And even though deer with the disease haven't been proven to harm humans, the CDC still recommends not eating a deer that tests positive. If hunters get a positive test result on their deer, the MDC will call them.
David Chasanoff.